Hello, everyone, and welcome from the Sister District Mass and Rhode Island team to our second Blue Notes Music for Democracy fundraiser. My name is Michelle, and I'm a volunteer and a member of the Sister District Mass Rhode Island Steering Committee. For those of you unfamiliar with Sister District Project, we are a national grassroots organization of roughly 40,000 volunteers working to flip state legislatures from red to blue. This year, sister district teams around the country have raised over $600,000 for 31 progressive candidates in 9 different states. There are many terrific reasons why we focus on the states, and we'll talk about some of that throughout the night. But for now, a few notes about the process. For the artist's sake, we'll keep all of you on mute during the performance. If you'd like to show your appreciation during the performance, you can do that with Zoom clap. And also take advantage of the chat function at the bottom of your screen to share your thoughts, ask questions, or even talk to people who you may know online. We will be recording and sharing this event online. And finally, please be sure to donate to our candidates and tip our musicians who right now need our support more than ever as well. We have PayPal links and ActBlue links in the Zoom background behind me. And we'll also be posting PayPal and Venmo links in the chat throughout the night. So tonight we have 2 terrific musicians, Lydia Harrell and Kim Trusty, who are literally raising their voices in support of 2 Florida candidates, Junquera and Franccesca Cesti-Browne. Both candidates are deeply rooted members of their Florida communities, and they know that as state legislators, they can act on the issues that concern the citizens of their districts, such as adequately funded public education, access to healthcare, preserving Florida's fragile ecosystem, and especially right now, protecting citizens during a pandemic. Proceeds from tonight will also support Higher Heights, which is an organization dedicated to empowering and electing Black women. We're very excited that joining us later tonight, we'll have Rita Bosworth, who's the founder and executive director of Sister District Project, and who we all here consider a visionary of the resistance. And if you stick around for a few minutes after the show, you'll have a chance to hear from our candidates directly. So with me now is Laura Vecchione, an amazing musician in her own right who performed in our inaugural Blue Note session last month and who is going to introduce you now to tonight's talent. With that, I'll hand it off to Laura.
Thank you so much, Michelle, and everybody, thank you so much for spending your evening with us. I'm so excited about these 2 artists this evening who are generously donating their time and their talent to help us fundraise for Ricky Junquera and Franccesca Cesti-Browne. Ricky and Franccesca are both running for House seats in Florida, a state with rampant gun violence, a state where GOP malfeasance has created a COVID-19 crisis, and where it's our last chance to elect Democrats before the 2021 redistricting. Now, I think so many of us miss live performance, and something that we get from the live performance is the artist brings their essence to the room, and I can vouch for the fact that these 2 artists have a beauty not only of sound but of soul, and you are in for a treat. Our first artist this evening is my friend Lydia, the lovely singer, Harrell, and I'll tell you a little bit about Lydia. Lydia is a Boston-based vocalist, songwriter, actress, and voice coach whose soulful voice and evocative songwriting have garnered her passionate fans and numerous awards. Among others, she won the 2015 Duke Ellington Jazz Vocal Competition, the 2017 Mid-Atlantic Jazz Festival Voice Competition, and Best Song in the 2019 Boston 48-Hour Film Project. She's performed at the iconic Apollo Theater in Harlem, New York City, and most recently, she landed the role of Billie Holiday in the upcoming new repertory theater production of Lady Day at Emerson's Bar and Grill, and I got my tickets. It got delayed because of COVID, but I can't wait to see it. So Lydia, you know, one of the things that I so deeply admire about you is I see you everywhere. You say yes to every opportunity, and I hope people Google you, and if they're not familiar with your music, they will be after tonight. What made you say yes to Sister District?
So, you know, I like saying yes to opportunities because I like making art, and I like meeting people, and I like sharing what I have to say through music or through acting or whatever it may be. But as far as choosing Sister District or saying yes to this opportunity, it's important to me to get more people aware, but also involve more people of color and in particular African American women. I think that our voice is strong and needs to be heard, and it's starting to be, but it's still not as much as it needs to be. So this is really important to me. I also think it's really important to spark interest in people to get them out to vote. Voting is a big deal to me. As much as I want to, I'll admit, I'm trying to push people to vote for the right side. But at this point, I just want people to get up and actually do it. You know, go out there, vote for what you feel is the right thing to do. And a lot of people of color don't, because they think their voice isn't going to be heard, or that their vote doesn't matter. And I believe it will if more of us just do it. Of course, not one single person is going to make the change, even though I will tell you that's not true. It can make the change, but generally that's not the case. We need to have all of us get up and come on out there and vote. Voting's important. And as I told you before, people died for me to vote. That's right. So I need to be there. I need to do that. I need to make my voice heard in every way possible, and voting is one of them.
Thank you so much. And speaking of hearing an incredible woman of color's voice, can't wait to hear you.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. This is my original called Who's Coming With Me? All right. There we go. Let me sit properly. There we go. It's about that time for some change. If you don't like how things are, that's when you rearrange. Who's coming with me? Who's coming with me? Don't be scared, step right up. If it's half empty, come and fill your cup. But who's coming with me? We gotta stop and think about what we're doing, but don't think too long. Got to get busy and start the schooling. Whoa, who's coming with me? Yeah. Ooh, who's coming with me? I can see light under the door. Ain't nothing stopping me no more. Who's coming with me? As if we're lost and all alone, but sometimes you know you gotta stop playing with your smartphone. Don't let anyone or anything stop you from your dreams. Are you coming with me? You just never know what can happen tomorrow. So I'm getting myself together. I gotta let go of that sorrow. Whoa, who's coming with me? Ooh, who's coming with me? Yeah. Don't you ever stop. Let's go. We're going straight to the top. Of who's coming with me? Yeah. Who's coming? Who's coming? Who's? Are you coming? Are you coming? Coming with me? Are you coming? Are you coming? Coming with me? Oh, are you coming? Are you coming? Are you coming with me? Are you coming? Are you coming? Coming with me? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. This next song I'm going to do is called Don't Let It. I wrote it, believe it or not, I wrote it because I was entering the Tiny Desk concert competition. I was like, I'm going to get on a tiny desk. And it didn't work out, but the song ended up being really great. I really like it. So here I am sharing it with you. So much time has passed, look at us now. We let everyone we know tell us where and when to go, no questions asked. Look how long that lasted. Seeing you here right now makes joy overwhelm me. You can feel it too, I know, and as we look at each other, I feel it happening all over again. And if we let this fire burn out, we may miss out on the time of our life. And if we let our time just run out, all too soon we will regret it. It can happen if you let it, so don't let it in. The fear and the doubt, when they come knocking, I will help you keep them out. My love, stay with me, 'cause as sure as the moon reflects onto the sea, your spirit, it reflects onto me. Oh, and if we let this fire burn out, we may miss out on the time of our life. And if we let our time just run out, whoa, too soon we will regret it. It can happen if you let it, so don't let it, no, 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 no. So don't let it, no, 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 no. So don't let it, no. So don't let it, no, 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 no. So don't let it in. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Wow. You go, Lydia. This is the second Music for Democracy that I've cried at because of the music. So thank you, Lydia.
Thank you so much.
Oh, beautiful. So thank you, Lydia. Next up, you also have another beautiful treat. In Kim Trusty, I realized Kim was referred to me through a musician friend, David Ure, and I realized I used to go down to Les Zigguramats in Boston, and I saw Kim Trusty, and it was just such a treat to call her and get to be reacquainted with her. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about Kim. Can everybody hear me? Okay. So Kim Trusty is revered in Rhode Island as a jazz, blues, soul, and gospel dynamo. In addition to performing solo and with her band, she's played the roles of Bessie Smith and performed in the show When Mahalia Sings in local theater. In 2010, she helped start the Trinity Academy of the Performing Arts, and she's taught and mentored many students in music at local schools. In 2010, she was recognized as the YWCA Woman of Achievement as an educator for the arts and received a Voice for the Voiceless award from the Fund for Community Progress. And in 2019, she was inducted into the American Festival Series Hall of Fame in Pennsylvania. Kim, I cannot wait to hear you this evening. Will you also tell us a little bit about why you said yes to Sister District when we talked about what this evening was going to be about?
So yes, what brought me to Sister District? So what brought me to Sister District was I really think about education and how important it is to educate our people, not only on a, I think that education financially, yes, needs to be supported, but it also needs to be reevaluated in our school systems as to what we're teaching, what we're educating our youth about, and also if we educate people about voting and how the process came to be about, why we had the right to vote, I think people would get more on board to vote. And I have to say that I ditto what Lydia said in terms of having African American women, really supporting them. And I think that the more we get African Americans or people of color in positions that can help make change, will make a difference. You know, if we keep seeing the same people in power and the same colors in power, it's not going to make much of a difference. So that's why I'm here. And yeah, and my first song is about strong black women, or strong women, period. So it's called Tell Me My Sister.
All right.
For my will is strong and my need is great. So tell me, my sister, is there a proper way? Will they view me as dangerous or suspect? But little do they know all I'm looking for is respect. And these are some of the silent things I experience every day, every day, every day, every day, every day. Ageism, sexism, classism, racism. Can you tell me what will be the next heroism? Protection, direction, expectation. They question me as to whether I have an education. And these are some of the silent things I experience every day, every day, every day, every day, every day. Oh, my sister, tell me, my sister. Oh, my sister, for my will is strong and my need is great. So tell me, my sister, is there a proper way? Will they view me as dangerous or suspect? But little do they know all I'm looking for is respect. For my will is strong and my need is great. So tell me, my sister, is there a proper way? My will is strong and my need is great. So tell me, tell me, tell me, is there a proper way? My will is strong and my need is great. So tell me, my sister, is there a proper way? So, thank you so much. Thank you so much. That was a Queen Trusty original. And I think I'm going to do another Kim Trusty original. Yeah, I'm going to do Comfort and Joy. comfort and joy, comfort and joy, comfort and joy. You bring me comfort and joy. Comfort and joy, comfort and joy, comfort and joy. You bring me comfort and joy. As the wise men say, you showed me the way. When I was in my lowest point, you came to me to say, I will watch over you in this day. And me not believing, me not seeing, me not receiving what you had for me. You say you wanna give me comfort, you say you wanna give me joy, but I feel nothing today. I'm feeling low, I'm feeling down, I'm feeling like I don't have a friend around. You say you want me to see, you say you want me to believe, you say you have all I ever need. And I say to you, right now, I need comfort and joy. You say you'll give me comfort and joy, comfort and joy, comfort and joy. You'll bring me comfort and joy. All I have to do is surrender to you. Am I willing to let myself go down and let you come through? Let you comfort me, let you give me joy, joy, joy. Oh. Come in and break, oh, the heart I have. Don't let me feel that I don't have access to you. You want to come in, you want to break, oh, through. You want to give me comfort, and you want to give me joy. Show me the way, teach me the way, Lord. I want your comfort, I want your joy, yeah. Comfort and joy, yeah. I just need a little comfort and joy, yeah. Every day I need a little comfort, a little joy. Won't you give me comfort and joy?
Wow, that was just beautiful. So wonderful to hear music in this time where we just can't get out and hear music. It just is really, really what makes the world go round. So thank you. Again, our musicians can just really use your support more than ever now. They can't get out and play and do what they love most. And so please remember to show your appreciation. We put the links in chat, and we also have them posted here. And now Rita Bosworth. Rita is the founder and executive director of the Sister District Project, which she formed along with 3 other women 1 week after the 2016 election. A little background, Rita clerked for a federal judge in DC after law school. She worked as a federal public defender for 12 years, and she now lives in San Jose, California with her husband and twin boys. What impresses me about Rita is that she leads with such strength of purpose and calm resolve. With every setback, she reinforces that our problems weren't created in one year. And with every win, she reminds us that we must be prepared to continue this fight beyond 2020. So welcome, Rita.
Oh, thank you so much. It's lovely to be here, to be talking to you guys. I am on the West Coast out here in California. We're having a bit of a heat wave. So I'm kind of dressed for the weather, but this was so exciting. What a wonderful event. I have to, of course, give major kudos to the organizers. The Massachusetts Rhode Island team is just an absolute powerhouse. They have been for over 3 years now, and you all are so lucky to be a part of that crew. So I won't take up too much of your time, but I do want to talk just a little bit about Sister District and what we do. And then I also want to talk about our work in the context of this moment in 2020, where we find ourselves somewhat down the rabbit hole, and what it means and how we can kind of see our path forward. So I'm sure that many of you have been working with Sister District for some time and are familiar with the work, but for those of you who aren't, I started Sister District about a week after the 2016 election, and I'm a lawyer. I was a public defender prior to founding the organization. What really struck me in 2016, and there were many things that struck me in 2016, was that Democrats are a majority of the country, but we don't have a majority of electoral power. And it wasn't just that we won the popular vote for the White House, but lost the Electoral College. We didn't have the Senate. We didn't have Congress. We don't have the courts. We don't have a lot of the states. So why is this happening where Democrats are actually a majority of the country, but they don't have a majority of electoral power? I started digging into that issue, and there are two things that I kind of identified. Number one is that there are a lot of us who live in very blue progressive areas, and we've done what we need to do and elected progressive folks in our districts. And we feel a little bit frustrated and powerless because we want to do more, but what more can we do? And number two is, again, this concept of the fact that we are a majority, but there's a real imbalance in power because of structural institutional barriers to fair representation, such as the Electoral College and the fact that every state, no matter population, gets 2 senators. And so I just started thinking, how can we do something, particularly those of us in these deep blue areas? And the solution for me was Sister District, where we're going to organize people primarily in blue areas, but everywhere. And we're going to channel those resources to places elsewhere in the country where it can make a difference. We're going to fundraise for candidates in other states who are in really close elections where a little bit of a boost could make a difference. We're going to make phone calls. We're going to write postcards. We're going to knock on doors back when we could knock on doors in the places where Democrats are in a tight election against a Republican and they just need that little boost in order to get over the finish line. So that's what we do. We're called Sister District because we literally sister teams of volunteers in one part of the country with candidates in another part of the country to try to match up that energy and those resources with the need where it is. And Sister District focuses only on state legislative races. And there are a couple of reasons for that, which I think are becoming even more clear with every passing month. Originally, we decided to focus on state legislative races because looking again at this problem of representation where the majority of people are not represented by a majority of government, a lot of this comes down to the problem with gerrymandering and redistricting. And it turns out that states control redistricting. It is the state legislatures in 37 states or 34 states that draw the voting district lines, both in Congress and in the state legislature. So you will see that there are a number of states where even when Democrats get a net majority of the votes, Republicans maintain control of the chamber, or they maintain a majority of congressional seats because they've drawn those voting district lines to favor themselves. And that really can only change at the state level. So that's initially why we decided to get involved in state legislatures, because of this issue of redistricting. But I will say that since then, an equally important reason has emerged, which is that states are really where policy battles are going to be fought for the foreseeable future. And just imagine, if you will, can you imagine Congress right now passing any sort of comprehensive legislation on anything? Gun violence prevention, the environment, healthcare, voting rights, women's rights, you name it, they're not going to do it because Congress is broken and toxic. Where those battles are going to be fought is in the states. And you don't even have to take my word for it. You can look at the progress we have made even over just the past 3 years. And the best example, the most exciting example, is Virginia. And many of you have probably been involved in Virginia politics for the past 3 years. We got right into Virginia in 2017 to try to flip their House. We got very close. We got within 1 seat of flipping their House chamber. And then in 2019, last year, we went back, we finished the job. We turned Virginia into the first Democratic trifecta state in the South, which means they now have a Democratic governor, a Democratic Senate, and a Democratic House of Delegates. And within 3 months, Virginia was able to do more than our Congress has been able to do in 3 years. Because when you have that power, that trifecta of power, you can move very quickly. And all of the legislation they passed earlier this year in 2020 went into effect on July 1st. And really, it reads like a progressive wish list. They eliminated the 24-hour waiting period for abortion. They now require universal background checks for buying firearms. They got rid of Lee Jackson Day as a state holiday, and they replaced it with Election Day as a state holiday. They made it easier to get an absentee ballot. I mean, these are things that are real changes for the people on the ground of Virginia. They happened in a matter of 6 months, and they happened because Democrats now control the state legislature. So this is not made up. This is not a pipe dream. This is actually something that's real. It's something that can happen. It's something that can make a big difference. And that is why we're focusing on the states. Now, I will say now in the context of 2020, we are seeing this in such clear focus, right? Because first we were hit with the pandemic, and we had absolutely no leadership on the federal level for the pandemic. All of the leadership came from the state level. And we are seeing a real difference right now in the states that took it seriously and are following science and evidence-based practices versus states that did what Donald Trump did, which is absolutely nothing, make fun of it. And the thing is that this is not a joke. This is people's lives and people's safety. And it's no longer just a political game, at least not to me, not to us. But it really still is for the other side. And that really right now absolutely depends on who is in office. It is the Democrats that are the grown-ups in office right now. And they're the ones that will absolutely be saving lives when they are in control of states. And then of course you look at the civil rights marches that are happening right now, the Black Lives Matter movement. You know, these reforms that we need and have needed for decades, for centuries really, are again going to happen in the states. The federal government does not have the kind of power to drill down and see what each region and each locality needs. Those are things that are going to happen city by city, county by county, state by state. And these changes are going to depend massively, again, on who is in power in the state. We just saw in Colorado, which became a Democratic trifecta state in 2018, that they were able to quickly pass a number of reform measures in the realm of police reform. And I know that we need to go a lot further than just reforming the laws, right? I mean, we need actual structural, systemic rooting out of corruption and change. But these are things, this is how you start. This is how you even begin the conversation. And I will tell you that on the other side of the aisle, they aren't doing those things. And then of course, we have an election coming up in less than 4 months. And The big thing that I believe is going to determine that election is whether people are able to vote. And voting is something that is decided on the state level. It might not surprise you to hear that when Republicans gain power in a state, the first thing they do, it's not outlaw abortion, it's not try to get rid of gay marriage, they make it harder to vote. That is the first thing they do because they're not stupid. They know that they are not a majority of voters. They know that them remaining in power depends on suppressing the vote. They really have to keep people from voting in order to keep themselves in power. And so what we have seen and what we'll continue to see is absolutely recognition of the fact that they cannot win if people vote. So they are going to make it as hard as possible. And you will see in red states, they enact voter ID requirements and they eliminate polling places. They make it harder to vote by mail. In blue states, we're pushing for automatic voter registration. We're pushing to lower the age where people can register to vote and vote. We're pushing for weekend voting and long periods when people can vote. No excuse absentee ballots. These things really make a difference. So when you're looking at how can I make the most impact in 2020, my view is this. 2020 is a year unlike any that we have ever had, maybe in our lifetimes, maybe that we ever will. This really is the most important election we could possibly have fathomed. And yes, it is a presidential election. Yes, we need to win the Senate. Yes, we need to hold on to Congress, but the states are so important. And the great thing about working with Sister District is when you get the vote out for a state representative, you are also getting the vote out for all those important up-ticket races. Because if somebody goes to vote for their state rep, they're also going to check the box for that important congressional seat and that important Senate seat and that important presidential race. It doesn't always happen in reverse because if people don't recognize the names at the bottom of the ballot, they often leave that blank. So the work you are doing is not something that you are doing instead of working on the presidential election. It is something you are doing to enhance our chances in the presidential election and in all the other elections. 2020 is also important because it's a census year. And that means that this is our last chance to elect Democrats to state legislatures before the next redistricting cycle that will occur in 2021. Next year, every state is going to redraw their voting district lines that are going to be in place for the next decade. We are still living with the lines that were drawn back in 2011, which were very bad for us because the Republicans smartly won a lot of power in the states, which is what we're trying to do right now. But this really is a once in a decade opportunity to win that power and the power in states that we need to bring fairness back to voting. So I know that sometimes it can feel like just reading the news is the same as being assaulted, and there is a tendency to want to retreat and block it out and just like go back to living life as normal, whatever that is. But what we're doing right now is the work that needs to be done. There is no normal unless we fight for it. There is no going back unless we fight. And we don't want to go back, we want to go forward. That doesn't happen unless all of us do our part. It can feel overwhelming. And what I would say is that no one person can change the fate of what's going to happen, but all of us doing our part and working together can change it. And if we don't, then we have for sure handed the other side a victory. So this is hard work. If you feel exhausted and hopeless and tired, that's normal. All you can do is keep doing what you're doing and then do a little bit more and bring your friends in to do it as well and keep hope alive. Honestly, I'm not a particularly optimistic person, but something I've learned in this work is that you have to have hope, because if you don't believe that change is possible, if you don't believe there's something on the other side, then you're not going to have the motivation to keep pushing forward. So those are just a few of my thoughts. I know you guys want to get back to your wonderful, wonderful program, but I just want to thank all of you so much for all of your hard work and your contributions. And I promise you that your contributions, no matter how small, matter because we're all doing that work together. So thank you again so much. You're all so wonderful, and I hope you guys have a wonderful evening.
Thank you so much, Rita. Wonderful to have you with us. I think we'll get right back into the music.
Thank you, Rita, and I can't wait to hear Lydia.
I'm glad I remembered to unmute myself. I've decided this evening to just play all original songs, all songs that I've written, because I rarely get that opportunity to do that. So I do hope you are enjoying what I've shared so far and what I will share with you now. All right. Yep. I slipped and fell into that hole again. It's like I have no more control within. No matter how I try to contain, I find more reasons to complain. It's like life isn't fair. I should just go and wash my hair because I can't concentrate. No, 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 no. It may be too late. Wanna wake up from the nightmare. Try to call for help, but no one cares. Is it me? Am I blind? Have I slipped and just lost my mind? Am I here? Am I there? Clarity for me is where I got too much on my plate. Oh, 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 oh. For me it may be too late. Oh, 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 oh. So do 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 do. So ba 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 dee 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 dee. I wanna hold on to the hope inside. Never give up 'cause I have too much pride. I feel scared, I feel cold. Maybe I've just gotten old. I won't cry, I might fight. I will not let myself believe that this will be my fate. Oh, 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 oh. Because it's never too late. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, so this one is called, I'm not going to tell you what it's called. I'm just going to play it. All right, here we go. I don't want to be your black friend. I just want to be your friend. 'Cause when you see me as a token, the friendship will have to end. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I won't be the one that keeps you politically correct. I'm not gonna be the one to keep your terminology in check. I'm not gonna be the one who runs it to protect you from a mess you created, from the statement that you made. I'm not gonna be the one. No, 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 no. Oh, no, no, no. I don't wanna be your black friend. I just wanna be your friend. Cause when you view me as a token, the friendship will have to end. Oh, oh, oh. My friendship don't give you permission to disrespect her. A friendship deserves attention that will nurture, not neglect. If this needs to be explained to you, it's time to look within. Cause that's where it begins. Oh, that's where it begins. I don't wanna be your black friend. No, no, no. A young man wearing a hoodie, another can't breathe. And then remember when that white woman says she was black for popularity? You guys remember that? Rachel Dolezal. You call our women angry and our young men thugs, and when you're called out on it, you want a hug and you say, no, it's okay, I have a black friend, so everything's fine. I never invite them to dinner, but I have one. We don't want to be your black friends. All that madness is gonna have to end. Cause when you view us as tokens or trophies or animals, the friendship can never begin. Let's be friends. Oh, let's be friends. Oh, let's be friends. Oh, let's be friends. Oh, oh, let's be friends. Woo, let's be friends. Oh, 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 hey, let's be friends. Oh, 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 let's be friends. Oh.
Woo! All right, now, Lydia.
Thank you. Thanks.
Lydia, I remember when you first wrote that song and you posted that video. I had never heard you write like that before, and was that liberating to write?
It was really cool. I was sitting in my living room at the time, and it was really interesting because what I liked about writing it was the first time I had written something that was based on what is happening currently at that time. Mm-hmm. So, and because otherwise I was writing about past stuff or future things, but never like, this is happening right now. And what's messed up is, you guys, I wrote this in
2015, I think.
15, I think, yeah.
Because I tried to get it. I knew the writer from Blackish. I did my best to try and get it on Blackish.
That's right, yeah. And the I Can't Breathe thing it was originally for Eric Garner, not for
right.
Floyd. It's amazing that that's actually still a line that I can use. It hurts my heart, but I'm glad everybody liked the song. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Lydia. So Kim, when we reconnected, I had mentioned earlier that I remembered that I used to go down to Les Zigamats, which was a cool little club down in Boston, and I used to see you play, and I had lost track of you for some time, and then we got reacquainted, and you told me your story. You told me what happened in 2014, and I think that relates to some of the policies that we're talking about. Would you mind sharing your incredible story and letting people know?
Actually, it was 2012, and I've had two. 2012 and 2017. In 2012, I had a stroke, and being a musician, it was interesting because it affected my cognitive and my ability to process and things like that. So I lost the ability to remember how I played. So I didn't remember how to play at all. In 2012, and I had to it came back to me slowly. I just kept at it. I kept working at it. but and right now, because of those strokes, I'm on state health care. And it's really important that they don't make the cuts in healthcare, because if that's true, I'm going to lose my Medicaid, and it'd be very hard for me to pick that back up and start paying for health insurance, and I need my health insurance. I need it to survive. I mean, with the medications and everything that I'm on to help me with preventing another stroke, as well as diet, then it would be catastrophic for me if I lost my health care. So that really speaks to me, because I'm very passionate about health care. If I'm not healthy, I can't do very much. So if people aren't healthy, if there aren't the opportunities for people to be healthy, it really, there's not much they can do. That is just downhill, downhill. So that was my story in 2012, and in 2017, I lost some of my left side, my ability to actually, it took me a while to learn how to make chords again, because my hand is like pins and needles. So I don't have the sensation that I used to have. So I had to get used to feeling my guitar in a different way. But I'm so glad to be here. I'm glad to be able to play music. I love playing music. I don't know what I would do without it. And it's because that I had the proper health care, that I got the proper care that I needed, so I was still able to do the things that I can do now. I got the rehabilitation. I got what I needed, so desperately needed. So yeah, that's my story. And I'm sticking to it. So
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I'm going to start off with a song called "Can't Let Love," and it's a song I wrote. Actually, the songs that I've played today are songs that I've written, and I think for the last song though, I'm going to play a cover because I just think it's so relevant. I just can't let love pass me by because of foolishness and selfish pride. Don't let me be foolish enough to let a good thing like love pass me by. So tell me how long must this dream go on? Will I be foolish enough to let it last forever? 'Cause I'm not able to ignore the circumstances I find myself in. Oh, only time will tell what the future could bring for me. 'Cause who knows what the future has in tell for either you or me. 'Cause I know that I just can't let love pass me by because of foolishness and selfish pride. Don't let me be foolish enough to let a good thing like love pass me by. I can't let things remain the way they are. I've got to let them go and grow. No matter how painful that may be, that's what I need to do for me. you so much. Thank you. So I think this song as well. I had two songs in mind, and I had to pick one. And you know, they're both really relevant songs, but I think I'll do this one. It's a cover. It's Tracy Chapman. People say I sound like her, so when I do my folkier stuff. But yeah, this is very, very relevant. Don't you know we're talking about a revolution? It sounds like a whisper. Don't you know we're talking about a revolution? It sounds like a whisper. While they're standing in the welfare lines, crying at the doorsteps of those armies of salvation, wasting time in the unemployment line, sitting around waiting on a promotion. Don't you know we're talking about a revolution? It sounds like a whisper. Poor people gonna rise up and get what's theirs. Poor people gonna rise up and take their share. Says you better run, 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 run. Yes, you better run, 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 run. 'Cause finally the tables are starting to turn. Talk about a revolution, oh no. Said finally the tables are starting to turn. Talk about a revolution, oh, while they're standing in the welfare lines, crying at the doorsteps of those armies of salvation, wasting time in the unemployment line, sitting around waiting on a promotion. Don't you know we're talking about a revolution? It sounds like a whisper. Finally the tables are starting to turn. Talk about a revolution, oh no. So finally the tables are starting to turn. Talk about a revolution, oh hold on. Talk about a revolution, oh hold on. Talk about a revolution, hold on. Thank you so much.
Kim, thank you so, so much. I hope you can read the comments here. Everybody is just so blown away. Thank you both to Lydia. Thank you to Kim. I just want to reiterate, please tip your musicians. You can see in the comments their Venmo and their PayPal. And Michelle, I also want to remind people that we're going to do another Music for Democracy, August 9th. And before I hand it back to you, Michelle, my question is, I know that sometimes people come to this and they say, oh my gosh, this is great. I wish my friends knew about this. Is this particular performance going to be broadcast anywhere? And I will unmute myself for the answer.
Yes, so we are recording and we'll fix up the video and get it posted on our YouTube channel. So we'll post there and we'll have links to the musicians' websites, which we should get posted now anyway in chat. And yes, we want to support this as much as we can. So I think Patrick is going to give us a little call to action now. Patrick has been with this group for as long as we've been around. So Patrick?
Thanks, Michelle. So yeah, thank you so much, Kim and Lydia and Laura, Rita, everybody who joined us tonight. This was so fantastic. We're just so happy and excited to have everybody here and just have these fantastic musicians with us. So we've heard great music and we've heard some just wonderful stories and inspiring stories. And so you want to know now, what can I do? What can I do now to help change things, to make this revolution happen? So I'm going to put 4 things in the chat that you can do right now. The first thing is you can RSVP to come to Franccesca's town hall with us on Wednesday night. So I put the link in the chat there to RSVP for that. And Franccesca is here with us today. And we'll let her introduce herself in just a moment, along with Ricky, who's also here. Number two thing you can do is you can phone bank with us on Thursdays and Sundays. It's the number one thing you can do to help get Franccesca and Ricky into the State House so they can help expand Medicaid in Florida to just make things better for people there. And so phone bank with us. You can sign up to make calls with us on Thursdays or Sundays. Third thing you can do is you can become a friend raiser, which is a new thing Sister District is starting. It's a new project, new campaign to help our volunteers reach out to their own networks of friends via email and friend raise money for our candidates. So if you want to do that, just send us an email. And fourth and final is you can join our organizing team. We have a wonderful group of people who help put this event together and who help organize all of our stuff behind the scenes. And we just have a great time. And if you want to help us in any aspect behind the scenes or on the front lines, send us an email and we will put you to work.
Yes, absolutely. And then we just want to welcome Franccesca, Cesti-Browne, and Ricky Junquera to say hello and unmute yourselves.
Hi, thank you so much for having us, Michelle, Patrick, Laura, Barbara, and Lydia and Kim. Your voices are beautiful, your message. There's something about acoustic music that really shows the talent and the lyrics and the heart of an artist, and it gets me teary-eyed because I appreciate music so much. So thank you. It's telling Lydia, it's something that I didn't know I needed, but I really need it because it's been so crazy. So thank you. And so I'm here because we need change. So we're all here for the same thing. I felt I needed to do more than voting. And I decided that I needed to step up and bring the change that we need. And so, sorry, the music has really touched my heart tonight. So we all see what we need, and this election totally matters. And thank you all for your time and your dedication and your continued support, because together we're so gonna bring the change we need from the bottom of that ballot all the way up. So thank you so much.
Dang, Franccesca. So y'all have to know that Franccesca and I are best friends. We met back right as we were filing to run in August or September of last year. And the two of us and one other candidate, and all of our districts are actually touching at one point or another. And we became the West Side group. For those who don't know, the West Side of Miami-Dade County is all Republican. And so the three of us are running in 3 seats that are actually divided by less than a percentage point between Democrats and Republicans on election day. And so the three of us actually have 3 of the best shots in the entire state to flip red seats blue. And I wasn't going to start with that. I was going to start by singing a piece of Kim's song, comfort and joy, comfort and joy, comfort, all we need is comfort and joy. And I loved it. I mean, come on, I'm your biggest fan now. And I put it in the chat, but I want to know if it's easiest or more money makes it to you if we buy your music off of your website than on iTunes. I don't know that answer.
Yeah, you know what? Oh, I'm not on.
Well, I'll email you and we can talk about it.
Turn myself off. Yeah, you can. The easiest way to buy my music is to actually. I just sold the last 2 of those CDs, but I can get more, so I will make sure.
All right, we'll talk. Well, yeah, I'll email you and we'll talk, because I saw it on iTunes, your 2005 release, but I wasn't gonna buy it until I asked you first. So anyway,
2009 is what you want. 2009.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Awesome. And we'll connect on that. But so I was gonna start with that piece of the song, but then Franccesca started crying and ruined the whole thing. But I just wanted you guys to know that we are best friends, and we're running together. We actually get on the phone for like an hour almost every night just to vent what everyone has said, from Laura to Michelle to Rita. It is hard at the bottom of the ticket because so much attention is paid to Congress, so much attention is paid to the president's race, but you all don't know what those small dollar donations mean. With your support in the month of June, Franccesca and I actually were two of the highest performers fundraising wise in the state. And it mattered so much because we started getting phone calls from people saying, how is it that you got, 500 individual donations, small dollar donations, how incredible to see that in a movement. And it's all because of Sister District primarily, and your network of support from all across and everywhere. And for me, obviously, I said it to some people that were on the chat earlier before we started. I went to Boston University for undergrad. I went to Lesley University for grad school. And so I spent 9 of my best years, or my entire 20s in Boston. And so the love and support from the New England area to me is like everything. And so I just wanted to end there. Thank you so much. And Kim, I hope to be able to visit sometime and we can jam together.
I would love
maybe learn the entire song. So
Absolutely.
thank you so much. Love you all.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Lydia, Kim, Laura, coming out. Thank you for everyone donating and making this event a success. I've got nothing else, but thank you.
Join us August 9th.
Yes. Join us August
Everybody
9th.
wipe those tears. I see people tearing up. What is this?
I know.
Is that supposed to end?
We needed this release. Definitely.
We did. Thank you for the beautiful music. Honestly, thank you all so much.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Very grateful to be here.
All right.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.
Stay in touch.
Stay
Bye.
safe. Thank you.
Francesca, you're not going to hear the end of this one.
Thank you, Ricky. You're crying too, so don't laugh.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.